What's going on, guys? It's your average consumer, and it is iPhone day. So Apple announced quite a few different things today. So let's go over all the important and new things that you need to know. And you know what? We're gonna go straight to it. We're gonna talk about the new iPhone. So the iPhone 15, it's different. It's got a new look. It's got some new colors. Apple changed up the way they handled their colors. You might notice this color palette is a bit more, well, it's like more on the pastel side. So we're looking at blue, pink, yellow, green, and black. What I just love about what I just said is the fact that all of those color names are very basic, and that is the theme for the iPhone 15 Pro as well. I actually like the way Apple did the colors this time around. They have like some special process where the colors are like infused into the glass. Some of the colors are a little bit more subtle, like the yellow, the blue, and the green. You can see them, but they're not like bam in your face like they have been in the past. They've got like a more of a frosted look to them, and I'm all for it. So on the back, you've got that frosted and subtle look, and on the aluminum around the frame is where you get a little bit more color. Now, a subtle change that Apple has made with the overall form factor of these phones is the edges are a little bit rounder, and you feel it in the hand. It's a little bit more rounded. I could live without it, and that's not a bad thing, but if you wanted like a nice softer feel to the hand, feels good. It's not as sharp, so I think most people are gonna love that. But if you throw a case on that bad boy, you probably won't feel it anyway. You know what, Jay?
Yeah.
That's a very good point. I didn't factor in the pinky. The pinkies always get crushed by those sharp edges.
It hurts so much.
You're not wrong. You know what, Jay? I take back everything I said. This can actually be a pretty big deal. But yes, those edges are now a bit rounder. Now, last year we got introduced to the dynamic island on the iPhone 14 Pro, and it has made its way down, of course, to the iPhone 15. Now, all of the cool features that we got from the dynamic island are now gonna be across the board. So 15, 15 Plus, 15 Pro, 15 Pro Max are all gonna have the dynamic island. And while we haven't seen like a ton of developers jump on the dynamic island just yet, it's still an overall better user experience than what we were experiencing with the Notch. It does add some nice changes, add some nice features. You'll be able to interact with certain applications, get the status of some, like your Uber Eats, your plane, how long it's gonna take to board. Jay and I actually really love that feature. And I'm glad that it's going to be across the board now. And these are gonna still be rocking the same Super Retina XDR displays that we got last year. So they're gonna look good, but now with the dynamic island and also with the ceramic shield, which should help with the durability. Those screens are also now going to be able to hit a new 2000 nit peak brightness. I think HDR content is going to go up to like 600 or 1600 nits, while if you're outside and it's super sunny, you're going to be able to hit that 2000 nit brightness, which is twice the previous generation. And of course, the next big thing is USB-C has finally come to the iPhone. No longer do we have to ask, hey, you have a lightning cable or USB-C? Hey, you got a charging cable? That's gonna become the standard. But we are finally moving in the right direction, and we're going to be able to see a lot of cool things come to the iPhone because of this. So we're gonna be seeing faster data transfer speeds. Things are just overall going to be better now that we're using USB Type-C. If you have your MacBook charger and you're using like USB Type-C or like, you know, a Thunderbolt cable, you can use that with your iPhone. It is a very good thing for the iPhone moving forward. Oh, Jay, you know what else this unlocks?
Yeah.
All of those accessories that we have for other phones, like Android phones, can potentially be used now with the iPhone, like different kind of charging accessories and that kind of thing.
That means my older iPhone accessories are just a bad investment.
Oh, sell them. Sell them while you can. Now this is cool because you can use chargers from different devices, but you can also just straight up charge your AirPods now right from your iPhone. You just plug in a USB-C cable right into your iPhone, connect it to your AirPods case, and now you're charging it on the go, which is nice. We haven't seen the iPhone share its battery power yet, and this is a nice step in the right direction. We'll see if they hit reverse wireless charging at some point, but we'll take what we can get little by little. Now, these phones are also going to have new ultra wideband chips. I don't know about you guys, but my wife loses her phone all the time. I do too. But she loses her phone all the time, and now we'll be able to use the Find My feature to exactly locate where her phone is when she misplaces it, because it's always on silent, so I can't just call it. But instead of having to ping it from the Find My, I can now specifically just use the phone and find it like it's an AirTag or something. Now let's talk about the cameras. So in the back, we now have that new 48 megapixel camera that we saw on the Pro models last year. Now, of course, make its way down to the new 15s. And you get the 48 megapixel wide angle lens, as well as your ultra wide lens, which is another 12 megapixel camera. But what's nice here is that you also get that ability to kind of crop down optically and still get like a 2x zoom. It's like having 3 lenses, but you only have 2. Apple's really pushing that this year, especially with the Pros. So we're definitely gonna be seeing better quality photos here. Photos, one thing I wanna mention, which I'm extremely hyped about, is the fact that we are now going to be able to get portrait mode shots from regular photos. So those live photos, you can now turn those into those nice portrait mode shots. I'm super happy about that. The cameras are now able to capture that depth information and use that to create that bokeh effect in the portrait mode shots. And I've been waiting for this for a long time. I always hated having to choose between a portrait mode shot or a live photo shot, so in case I don't hit it exactly at the right moment. Now I get the best of both worlds all at once. That is huge for me, and I'm sure a lot more people. I'm very happy they made that change. But we'll talk more about like photo and pro features with like the iPhone 15 Pro. Now, of course, what's powering the new iPhone 15s is the new A16 Bionic processor, and it's better. They're always better. But no, all jokes aside, this is going to, I'll throw up on the screen just how much improvement we're gonna be seeing across the board. But as you can see, there's some pretty significant increases in a lot of the places where we're gonna draw that power. But for my average consumer out there, you can absolutely expect better performance and the ability to do more with this phone compared to last year. Okay, that's pretty much it. I guess we should talk about the iPhone 15 Pro. So here it is, you guys. This is the new iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max. Now this year, they're going to be made out of titanium, so we're no longer seeing that stainless steel finish. Now we've got something a little bit more rugged and quite a bit lighter. So now the phones are going to be lighter than they used to be, with a bunch of crazy durability that we expect from titanium. Now, something cool that Apple was able to do with these phones is actually shrink down the body, but still keep the same screen size. So we still got a 6.1 and 6.7 inch display on a slightly smaller body. That chassis is now quite a bit smaller on the top and bottom. I think they're 1 millimeter thinner. So it should feel a little bit more comfortable in the hand. They've also got those new rounded out edges, so our pinkies don't get hurt when you're using them. So we've got some nice subtle changes, but I feel like they're gonna be pretty impactful. That new titanium, the smaller chassis, and the rounded edges, very good things. Now, of course, these come in 4 colors. So we're looking at a black titanium, white titanium, blue titanium, and a natural titanium. I'm very happy with the standard names here. I like Midnight and Starlight and all that, but they don't exactly tell just the random person what color it is. Black, blue, white. Except for the natural titanium, I think you can kind of guess what it looks like. The natural titanium is more of like a dark grayish kind of color, right, Jay? Would you say that?
Yeah, it's gray.
It's gray. It's more on the gray side than anything, just like a bit of a darker gray. Actually, I kind of dig it, I'm not gonna lie. But now, one of my absolute favorite things about the 15 and 15 Pro, that action button. And that action button is gonna allow you to do quite a few different things. So that is going to be replacing the mute slider, switch, whatever you wanna call it. That slider is gone now. And as a default, that action button is still going to control your volume or your ringer. You can long press so that you can turn your ringer on or off. So you can switch between silent mode by long pressing. And if you just tap it, you'll get a status indicator through the dynamic island letting you know your current mode. So if you just wanna see really quick if you're on silent or not, or if you're on ringer, you just tap it and it'll show, and you have to long press to actually change it. Now, what's great about this action button is you can go into the settings, and it's actually really easy to find. You go into the settings and then you can select what you want this action button to do. You notice they didn't just call it the mute button. It's an action button because now you can do things like turn on your flashlight, set a certain application to it, open your camera. And what's dope about opening your camera is that you can actually select what exactly it'll do when you press that button. So if you're more of a selfie taker, You can select that. If you want to take regular photos, videos, you get to pick what that action button actually does when you hold it down. And when you're within the application, like the camera, when you tap it, it'll also work as a shutter button. There's a lot of functionality that's going to be added here, and I personally think it's a really big deal. So me personally, I am very excited about that, but I know a lot of other people are gonna be more excited about, of course, USB-C coming to the iPhone 15 Pro as well. And I think with the 15 Pro is where Apple kind of really highlighted the use of extra accessories and external storage. So if you're like at a photo shoot or something, or you're recording videos, you can have it go directly to that external storage. So like I said, we already went in depth about how good USB-C is going to be, and of course it's going to be great here as well. Now what was surprising to me is these phones don't have the A16 chip, they're rocking Apple's new A17 Pro chip, which is really crazy. So of course we're going to see some really huge increases compared to last year. But just to put it in perspective for you guys, they're adding so much power, especially in the world of gaming, that we're going to see a AAA title from consoles coming to the iPhone. So we're gonna be seeing the newest Assassin's Creed come to the iPhone, I think later this year. Now, we don't know what that game is going to feel like and play like on the iPhone. The fact that this is something that's on the table now, that's a big deal. That tells you a lot about how much more power we're going to be getting in these new phones. I'm trying to play Apex on this thing. We'll see, we'll see. They're adding ray tracing to games. Now, I know the everyday person is like, what's ray tracing? But for the gamers, we know what ray tracing is. It's the way the light reflects in the environment. That's something that had to be done in software previously, but now we've got the hardware to make all those environmental changes through light and reflections happen on the system. So games are going to look more immersive, they're gonna look better. I'm excited for it. Because it's a bigger phone, Apple had a little bit more room to do a few things. We're still looking at a 48 megapixel wide angle lens, 12 megapixel ultra wide, which have seen improvements, but the biggest improvement is going to be on the telephoto of the 15 Pro Max, because it now offers a 5 times optical zoom. What is an optical zoom? It's basically zooming in without sacrificing image quality. Now, because we've got these zoom capabilities, Apple says we've got 7 cameras built into this phone. So let's talk about it. So we've got the ultra wide that provides a macro lens, so you can get those close-up shots, as well as a 13 millimeter. That's the standard shot that you can go for. Then you creep up to the 48 megapixel, which will give you a 24, a 28, a 35, and I believe also a 48 millimeter shot. So you've got that range there, and the new telephoto is going to give you 120 millimeters. So you've got, 7 different modes that you can go into without suffering any image quality by having to digitally zoom. That's a lot of cameras, right? So you know what we're gonna do. Put in a real day in the life, see how it is to use all of them. But I do like how easy it is to go into the app, and you can just press the different little zoom buttons. Like you can press the one times a couple of times to get access to those specific focal lengths. So it's a nice touch, feels very pro. And speaking of pro, if you like to use cinematic mode, you'll now be able to zoom within it, which is going to give it some more flexibility. Apple had a demo that showed like a really nice clean shot with the soccer ball. It looked really good. So if you're into that, it's gonna be an option. I'm gonna try that a little bit more myself. Now, another interesting thing that we knew was coming, spatial video. We're not going to be able to capture those like 3D-ish images that we're going to be able to really take a look at on the Apple Vision Pro. We knew it was coming because nobody wants to walk around and take photos and videos with that headset on their head, or any headset on their head. So we knew that Apple was going to be coming out with that ability right from the iPhone, so that when you're on your Vision Pro, you'll be able to see it. So you get those nice, cool 3D videos. That is now going to be an option on the new iPhone 15 Pro. Now, I feel like those are all the major things happening with the phone, things that are new, things that are fresh. But now let's talk about pricing. So the 15 is going to start at $799, and of course the 15 Plus, I believe, is $899. And with the iPhone 15 Pro, we're looking at $999. 15 Pro Max, surprisingly, $1199. So that's $100 more than last year, but it now starts at 256 gigs, which is the same price as the 256 gig option in the previous year. So no price increases, just a higher base starting price for the 15 Pro Max. Now pre-orders will start September 15th and they're officially gonna be available in stores on September 22nd. So that's when those get shipped out. That's when you'll be able to find them in stores. Now those were the iPhones, but Apple also did some nice improvements over on the Apple Watch side of things. So first thing we're gonna talk about is the Ultra 2. So the Ultra 2 overall, body is going to look exactly the same. It's going to look the same, but they're now using 100% recycled aluminum, so we're gonna get those nice environmental changes there. And while the body may look the same, we're gonna get the new S9 chip inside, which is going to give us better performance as well as better power efficiency, which is going to be great because these are going to be able to put out 3,000 nits of peak brightness. So the new one's going to have the brightest screen that Apple's ever created. Now, we're also going to be seeing a new watch face with more information. But one thing that's also nice is that that new S9 chip is going to introduce a new feature called Double Tap. So now you'll be able to answer calls, interact with different watch faces by going like this. And it's going to select the main button on the screen. If your hands are dirty, maybe you're cooking or something, maybe you just change the diaper, dad brain. Maybe you just change the diaper, you got your dirty diaper in your hand, you wanna answer a call really quickly. You can go like this, like that, and it'll answer the call, switch widgets, all kinds of different interactions are gonna be possible with this new Double Tap. And it's just crazy to see that Apple's able to detect the nerves firing from just your index and thumb. Technology's nuts. But we saw some updates to the new Apple Watches as well. So the Series 9 has got some new colors. I think they've got like a new pink. But what's most important is that they got the new S9 chip, which makes it quite a bit faster. And now we're also going to be seeing improvements to Siri. Siri is going to be on device instead of going to the cloud, so responsiveness should be improved here as well. So overall, it's going to just be a snappier device. I believe it's also more power efficient. So nice little upgrades coming to the Apple Watch, but that's what we're seeing with the new Apple Watches. So I feel like that's it. We don't want to throw too much at you guys. Oh, it's gonna be a new AirPods with the USB-C charging now. We're gonna have a full video on the new AirPods though, so definitely be on the lookout for that. But USB-C is now gonna be a part of AirPod cases. A full video coming. But that about wraps it up, guys. Let me know what you guys think. What iPhones are you looking at? Which ones got your attention? If you're looking at the Pros, is the Pro Max gonna take your buy because of that lens? Let me know with a comment down below and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Till then, it's your average consumer. Peace. Jay, you gotta upgrade. Which one you going for?
I'll probably go for the 15.
Get out of here, really? It looks good.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
I'll go for the color.
I hear
Just
you.
for the color.
Fair.